I'll do hey crew.
This is episode 5 on love. Love is a powerful force in life. Love can change your mood instantly. It can influence how you care for yourself. It can change the people you love's life, and it can also change the lives of strangers. Today we're recording on Valentine's, so we took this opportunity to talk all about love, self love, the energy of love, love after relationships, and so much more. So, welcome to Creating You in the Universe. This is Sandra. I am Leah. And as always, with anything powerful in your life, it is beautiful to start with intent. And Sandra leads that for us today.
There's a special intention for today for Love Day. Whether you're with someone, without someone, I give you and send you blessings in love, big blessings in love, self-love, self-purpose, blessings around family, pets, loved ones, and the biggest love. Oh, I almost gave it away. The biggest one, universal love. Do you know how to tap in to universal love? Insta, as always, we're up there. Love you. Sorry, we'll be watching here. Progress, not perfection. All right.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
The part that stood out to me about love, you mentioned pets, and honestly, I didn't think about it, and I feel bad because I have a dog. His name's Odin. Sorry, Odin, I love you. But love with pets is huge. Love from pets, that relationship with pets, animals in general, have this love about them, especially dogs. I love cats.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate cats. I've come a long way in my relationship with cats, but dogs definitely have this love about them that is so unconditional.
Just like, yeah.
You want to tap into love and you're like, don't know where to start? Observe a dog.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be your dog. You don't have to go out and buy a dog.
There's so many YouTubes about, like, especially I love the ones about pets that haven't seen their owners for a little while. And just dogs, they just like go crazy. Or cats like, yeah, you're back. Good.
Where'd you go?
Yeah.
Not cool, man.
Actually, that's not true. I do have a cat. As other people have observed, it's a love-hate with this cat. She has to sleep on above my pillow every night, and I'm always waking up and like throwing her, get off of me. But then, if she's not there, I'm always like, I miss her, and but she's a special cat. And I don't know anyone who's seen that movie, but Mr. Deeds, and other people have seen this, where she's that cat where you turn around and she's right there and you're like, where'd you come from? And then, of course, if we're gone or when we come back, she's even more so, like, just always there. You turn around, I'm upstairs, where'd you come from? Like, she's like, I'm not letting you out of my sight. So cats can be like that.
Yeah.
Dogs
absolutely.
Are like on you. Cats are like, just like, I'm going to be in the same room with you, and I'm not going to stop staring at you across the room because I want to know where you're going at every moment in time. So there's that kind of love. That's cat love.
Yeah. But today is Valentine's, and some people celebrate it, some people don't. I was saying earlier, today I was at a chiropractor, and the person next to me who's getting adjusted, they were like, Happy Valentine's. And I was like, oh yeah, today's Valentine's Day. So that's how I celebrate love.
Right.
I knew the day was coming. I knew today we're talking about love. But
you know what's funny? We said that we were going to, because we always talk ahead of time, what are we going to kind of talk about so we can work on getting that download or upload, whatever you want to say, from intuitive measures and universal love. And it was funny because I was like, well, Valentine's Day is coming up, so I guess next week we'll do Valentine's Day. And I did not even realize it fell, because we always do it every Tuesday. I did not know that it actually fell, so I thought, that's kind of cool.
Today is the day. If you're listening later on, right? Or in the future, today is the day.
Today is
2023, and it's a Tuesday.
February
this
14th.
Is when we record.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, love, love, love. That's what's coming through.
Self-love. Let's start there, because before we go out into the world, we got to start with self. Self-love. Sandra brought up a beautiful reminder earlier that taking care of you is important.
Yeah, like, and especially if you're out of a relationship or just getting into a new one and you've had some kind of hurt or damage done before, then make sure, one of the biggest tidbits that I do give to people is make sure you're not carrying the baggage from one relationship to the other. You've got to treat that new relationship as new, but don't be afraid to be vulnerable and tell them some of the things that you've some of the things that you've been going through, because you don't want to, like, hey, and like unload your suitcase, right? Like, here's where I'm struggling. You can,
but depending on who you're with, they might run.
Yeah, so you might want to give like a little bit of background, or just pick out the things that are very important to you for this relationship, and the things that you are struggling, whether it's let's see, insecurity. I'm drawing a blank today.
Well, if we're going off that topic of going on to love after relationships, love after trauma, because trauma doesn't just have to be with a significant other, it can be your family. I think of attachment styles. So attachment styles, because I've done therapy, I'm definitely not a therapist, can be, one of them is anxious, one of them is avoidance, one of them is a blend of both, I forget what that's called, and one of them is secure. You feel secure in your relationship. So if you're anxious, oftentimes somebody pulls away from you, you're like, what did I do? What's happening? Are you okay? If you're avoidant, something bad happens or triggering happens, not bad, triggering, and you shut down, you're silent, I can do it on my own. You're pulling away.
Become independent.
Yeah, so often those two find each other. That's what my therapist says. Because I've done many hours of therapy with my significant other in our pursuit to stay together, to choose each other.
To choose each other.
Yes, that's our choice. And so that can be one example of bringing your baggage into the next relationship. So that's, I will just call it what it is. That's baggage of how you grew up. Those anxious or avoidant tendencies are often from childhood, how you were cared for. An anxious person is typically, this is just what I've read off the internet, I am not a psychologist, but an anxious style of attachment is often they were cared for and had their needs met, and then sometimes that person wasn't available, your caregiver. And so that's why when someone is avoidant to us, like when the parent withdrew, you're trying to get their attention again because you know it will come back. And someone who is avoidant, there's lots of reasons why this happened, same with anxious, but someone who's avoidant, one of the things, the characteristics of growing up is maybe you weren't met your needs at all or validated, and so you learned how to basically shut down and do it yourself. And so just recognizing your attachment style can definitely influence your relationship, your love. There is a handle on Instagram, it's called The Secure Relationship. And they have lots of examples and tools to pull on for love. But I think what Sandra was drawing from is we have baggage. We have triggers and traumas from any relationship, and especially spousal ones. Maybe it's around cleaning. Maybe it's around communication. It could be around tone, how somebody talks to you. And so just giving an open and a calm, safe space when the moment is right to say, hey, sometimes when someone's raising their voice, or for myself, when they're being a little too critical, I tend to shut down. So if you can give me a minute to collect myself, I can come back and communicate better.
And the purpose and the biggest thing that will help you is to have those communications and those discussions when you're not in a heated moment. It's those, for instance, so my husband and I talked online for at least a month before we physically met in person. And we got all the nitty gritty, really gross conversations out of the way before we even met. And I think that a lot of people don't take that time right now. Like, and we're talking like dreams and aspirations, but also likes, dislikes, things that will not be tolerated. Just complete and utter open communication, and I fundamentally believe that that's why we are where we are in our relationship, and we have the best communication I think I've ever seen in my own life. And then other people have noticed how just how open and blunt we are about things, because we addressed all those conversations right from the beginning.
And just to give some background, because we're a little bit like opposites in our relationships in the sense of how we started. So how old were you when you met Ian? And, you know, did you come
29.
out of, you were 29. And did you come out of any relationships that influenced you getting through the nitty gritty? Because I feel like in your relationship, you knew what you desired, you knew what you were done with, and so having those conversations were a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it made more sense because you've been there, you've done that, you're going into your 30s, like, let's get life going.
I don't have time to waste. That was exactly what both of us said. I don't have time to waste. This is what I do want. This is what I don't want. This is what I will put up with. This is what I won't put up with.
Yeah.
And
you know yourself far more at that age. I mean, I hope you do.
Yeah.
If you don't, this is the right podcast.
This isn't a gender thing. It's just historic. It's just how we're made. But most men, it's usually around 30, 35 that they really start to not settle down. Settle down's the wrong word, but come into like being a man.
Get their shit together.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Coming into being a man. Coming into being a man. Like being from a boy to a young man. And
to a man. There is a difference.
There is a huge difference. And
not
it's usually not till 30, 35.
Yes.
Without life experience, some of you are like, I was like that, but that's
because of your environment trauma. Yeah. How you work through that trauma, the resources you got. You can stereotype anything.
Right.
But for my spouse and I made a list. I don't know if you watch the shows, The Millionaire Matchmaker on Slice or Life Network or whatever. Yeah. And she was always like, you have to have your non-negotiables. And what's funny is I made non-negotiables. I was done. I had been through my own trauma and relationships. I definitely had a lot of fun before Jordan. But I was 19. It's kind of ridiculous how much dating around I did before 19.
Dating around? You said dating around. Yeah. That's fine.
But I was done with doing what I was doing. I made a non-negotiable list, and he met every single one. I'm like this.
How big was your list?
It wasn't that big. There was at least 5 things. It was a long time ago, and I feel so ashamed with some of the stuff that's on that list now. But for whatever reason, that was what I needed. And it gave me a sense of security and feeling like I could invest a life with this person. And Jordan's a year older than me, but I met him when I was 19, and he was just about to turn 20. So we didn't know ourselves. I was just moving out of my house. I was kicked out of my house. I had a lot of interesting circumstances, but we've done a lot of growing together rather than apart. So we're on 12 years now, knowing each other, and in a couple months it'll be dating. 12 years. But we didn't have the wisdom and insight that I would have if I was 29 going into a relationship. But
so I was married at 21. So I grew up in a household, and all parents do the best that they know how. And back in those days, it seems like however you were treated by your parents, it just kept going, right? Just like the cycle. And so there was not a lot of love in my household. It was very business. So I needed love right at such a young age. And I actually didn't have a boyfriend till later on, like probably 17, 18 was my first real boyfriend. And so I got married right away. I think I was 20, 21. And it was a very, very life teaching experience. Let's say that. That is how we will leave that. Together for 6 years. Very, very life changing, life altering, very, very eye opening about love and all that nobody tells you about and things like that. So when I divorced, I spent 2 years or even 3, I think, really single and really healing. It took a lot of self-healing, a lot of self-love, which we'll come back to, a lot of accepting and being in the state of okay, so we went through this. How are we gonna bring about the next person and make sure that you never fall for someone like that again. And a lot of self-teaching. And then I totally forgot where I was going with this.
Married.
Young. Oh, and I laughed. I snickered at your list because you said, how big was your list?
Maybe 5 things.
Okay, so 5 things. So here's something for you guys. There's some people that say don't make a list. There's some people that say make a list. And I love this because this is so tying into creating into the universe. I had, drum roll please, I had a list, and I kid you not, loose leaf paper. It was 4 pages back to back of what I wanted. And I kid you not, he checked off every single box. I had it so in tune with what I wanted: looks, money, savings, habits, character traits, what sports you like, animal, like everything you could possibly imagine. And every date I go on, because I did date a lot, did date because I was looking and, okay, what do I want? And every date was like, I go home, be like, okay, I didn't like that guy. Okay, what did I like about him? I want those traits added onto this list. And okay, those ones don't matter so much, erase, right? 4 pages back to back. My daughter has seen the list because it's tucked in inside some journal that I had. But people, to the point when I was single looking for this person I knew existed, were literally saying, you are too specific. That person cannot exist. There's no way this guy exists. And I was like, nope, he does. And he did. And it was like I invented him, but he's 4 years older than me. So explain that. But literally, don't let anyone tell you cannot write a 5-letter or a 5-line list, no list, or a 4, 6, 10-page list of all what you're looking for, because what your intention is, and when you find it, it's magic. And when you actually find them and they line up, you're just like, you're mine. You belong to me because you match up everything on the list, right? So
I guess we invite you, if you're feeling up to it, part of manifesting, co-creating anything in your universe, writing is powerful. Put it on paper.
Absolutely. There's something powerful about writing, right?
Mm-hmm. So
write it. Not on your phone. I mean, you can start there, but there's something magic about the pen and paper. I love my trees, but there's something magic about that for sure.
So self-care, self-love.
Self-love.
So what is the line? Nobody's going to take care of you like you can take care of you. So yes, we have partners. What I've learned in my partnership is that I can't rely on him for anything. I can't put that expectation that he's going to fill all my needs. I realized that, as I grew up with him, that's something that's just in the fairy tales. You have to take care of yourself, because anyone in this world isn't going to take care of you like you. They can help support, they can do the best they can, but at the end of the day, you need to know how to take care of you. That can be obvious things like showering, taking bubble baths. I mean, like, really start with you. And if you're struggling with love in your life, and maybe depression or those kind of things are in your life, start with a shower, put something on, start with love for yourself in the simplest of ways. Maybe love is creating yourself a meal. Maybe love for you is buying yourself a meal, even if it's whatever that is for you. Do it. Take care of you. I'm just thinking right now that hygiene, that the nails.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, you don't necessarily have to go to a salon to get your nails done. Even just giving yourself a manicure or pedicure, and men too. My husband likes doing that stuff for himself too. Just like even shaping them and cleaning them, and just clear nail polish or something, just to new haircut, haircut
makes a huge
buff for me, or
yes,
headpiece, or I do wear hair. So even buying a new wig or hair system, just dressing up, going out for a drink, just I even had to go so far when I was really self-loving. I actually, and as crazy as this sounds, it is what it is, I even went so far as to text myself. So you actually text yourself to your own number and it comes up as a text. Just reminding myself that you're beautiful, you got this, you're amazing, or pretending that pretending that your future self boyfriend is texting you, and just get into that moment of, where do we go?
We're still here.
Okay, sorry. It flashed. I thought it went off. Yeah, right on the mirror.
So, the thing that's sticking out to me, there's two things right now that are coming through. The most prominent relates to what we're talking about. You're talking about talk to yourself as if that was how, you want someone to talk to you. The other thing is, it's my teacher would call it the law of shelves. So if you're looking for a can't see me. There I am. We're live.
We're live.
Okay.
Because I can edit it, right? For our podcast.
sure
It'll all be
can.
edited, so it'll all look nice and...
So what we were talking about, the law of shelves. If you put up a shelf, it will be filled. You put a shelf there, you're going to put something on it. In a week, you're going to have maybe a full shelf. But the idea is you put up a shelf, it's going to be filled. My teacher described the law of shelves as, he always used this example. His name's Dr. Richard Lusich.
That's your teacher's name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Went with him for 2.5 years. He said, pretend as if you already have a spouse, which is what you were talking about. Talk to myself as though someone's talking to me. Set up an extra toothbrush. If your bed's on the side of the wall, move it from the wall and set up another side table.
I was gonna say that.
As though, oh yeah?
That's
as
good.
though somebody's
cool.
living there,
right?
You know? And so I've suggested this to people, and it's worked. It gives me shivers.
Yeah,
This does work.
I was
Write
literally
it out.
Gonna say it. Write it out, but act it out. Act it out. Exactly what your teacher was saying. That's exactly how I teach people too. And 2 people. I say 3. 2. There's a third, so there must be someone else I'm forgetting about. They have done a lot of stuff, but I've also very much assisted them manifesting, and not only a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but their actual love partner, and they're still happily married today. So it does work. But cooking, when you're cooking, you don't have to go to the extent of dishing out it on 2 plates, but set it up like there's 2 plates there. Make them clean out half your closet.
Make room in your closet.
Make room in your closet.
My teacher said all of the same things.
Yeah,
exactly,
because it works.
Yeah.
Tested and true. That's what I did with my husband. You know what's funny is I used to have myself a bubble bath in my jet tub, and I used to bring myself a wine and pretend he was bringing it to me and be sitting there and have the conversations with this open space. And I kid you not, it was probably a year of us dating and actually living together. And he brought me a glass of wine and we had the same conversation. I was like, "You're so funny. You're so funny." It was like literally what I was talking about with him, only he was actually partaking in the conversation instead of me creating this imaginary conversation in my head. But it works. It's amazing.
So self-love. Coming back to self-love, another form of self-love is boundaries. Saying yes when you mean to say yes, and saying no when you mean to say no. Emphasis on the no. Say no more often. That is a form of filling up your cup. It's a form of granting yourself space to do the things that you need to do. If you are running around saying yes to everything, and
how does that feel?
It doesn't. Well, often. I mean, maybe for someone it feels amazing, but if you say yes when you don't mean it authentically,
when you don't want to do it, but you're doing it, then resentment builds up, right?
Yeah, resentments. There's not an easy, even energy exchange. Boundaries is a form of self-love. That was the other thing. Law of shelves and boundaries really came up for me right now.
Friendships we talked about before. Everything's a transaction. So friendships for love, making sure that you're receiving the friendship that you want, but also giving. What are you giving to friendships? So on a love day, are you wishing your friends love today too? Or if this day is something that you celebrate, are you remembering your friendships? Just like when back in elementary school, I don't know if they do that in school. I homeschool my children now, but do they still do Valentine's Day?
They do.
Yeah.
Depending, you might have a school that has values that we don't recognize or celebrate any holidays. There are schools like that too. But no.
Sending them love?
Yeah. So, look.
In relationship, how about relationship love? So is today just a day where you're like, oh, I have to, do you feel out of obligation, like, oh, I have to buy them something, or I'll never hear the end of it? Or vice versa, or do you just go through the motions because you guys have been together and you know everything, and it's just kind of like reached like a really awkward, like, I don't know, people say that they get that 10-year itch, or what, not the itch, but like the boredom. So make sure that you're doing things that what am I trying to say, that show how much you appreciate your partner. Right? And if you can't find it off the top of your head, because if you are going through a dry patch, or what is the word I'm trying to say, like just a
A lull.
A lull. Here's the other thing about writing. You can actually write. I heard someone do this, and it was amazing. I do it every day. I do my gratitude journal every day. But writing one thing a day that you're grateful for about your partner, and then like on Thanksgiving they gave it to them. It was like this book of everything and they did it for a whole year and then gave that to them. So maybe if that's something that resonates today, start that today and give that to them as a gift next Valentine's Day. There's nothing that feels better than when people tell you that they appreciate you and that you are appreciated. Like, did you ever do that in school? They made us do it like once, and it was pretty amazing because you're like, oh, that popular girl's not going to say anything nice about me. And actually, it was amazing what people actually did when, yes, they had to. It was part of something for school, but they still did it. They could have just been like, hey, you got cool shoes. But they didn't. They're like, cool. You're sweet, or I like how you're always so pleasant, or I like your smile, like just things like that. So reaching for those moments, if you are in a lull in a relationship, or you could be parting ways in a relationship, doesn't mean it has to end on a negative note. And I'll give you this little piece of advice. How you end something is how you begin something, and that's a universal law. That's another segment we'll be coming up with, all the universal laws for you. It's a law. How you end something is how you begin something. So keep that in the back of your mind. If you want a nice next relationship, end this one on the highest note, physically possible, even if you have to make it up in your mind. I'm so grateful for this person for teaching me this. I'm so grateful for this person for teaching me that. And yeah.
Some advice that I was given when, because now I feel like we're exiting love and going into relationships. So on the note of relationships and helping them thrive, because I feel like I have lots of experience looking to thrive in moments where my spouse and I are still growing together rather than apart, is you can have conflict in your life, stress between each other, and sometimes it's easier to stay focused on the things that you're upset about, triggered about, and that can trickle into sometimes years. And so a great piece of advice was just building off what you were saying with gratitude, things you're grateful for. Start to look for the things that you do appreciate, because that can shift how you look at your partner. That is a flat line rule for anything in this universe. If you're looking at your life in misery and anger and contempt,
you'll find it.
You'll see it everywhere you look, and it will cultivate and grow bigger and bigger.
And more things will just show up and be like,
you create your universe.
Absolutely.
You can do the same thing with the love of your life. If you're choosing to stay committed to that spouse, if that's your thing, look for the good. Give the bad a break and look at your spouse with fresh eyes. Speaking from experience, it really makes a huge difference, because you might be in such a lull that that's the norm, to look at them with gray glasses rather than rose-colored glasses.
And sometimes, speaking from experience too, but I'm going to ask you this, was there times when you first started doing that you really had to think about it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You got to think.
I really have to think why you should be here today.
Well, that's your choice, though, right? If this is what you choose.
Right.
Absolutely.
100%.
Dig for it. Because if that's what you're holding on to, for whatever reason, that's your business, that you choose to stay with that being, that beautiful being, search for the good. It can make a really big difference in your love towards each other.
And the more you dig, if you really have to start digging to search for it, it will get easier and it'll be faster and it'll just flow, and then everything will just start. You'll notice these things that are just like, oh, I never noticed that before. That's beautiful, or I love when you do that. Or,
yes, and it also sets a tone for leading by example. You know, don't do it to expect that the other person does it in return, but do it. And I want to almost guarantee, unless the person's not ready for growth, I almost guarantee you that if that person is committed to you as well, they will start shifting and they will be doing the same thing as you.
Never, ever, ever do anything, and I think that's what we're beginning with expectation. Never be like, oh, I heard on this podcast, creating you in the universe, that it's like, if I do this, then they're going to start. No, it doesn't work that way. It has to be genuine, and the universe, God, source, whoever insert there, will always knows exactly everyone's true intention. So if you're doing something to get something, it's not ever going to turn out in your favor, ever. In fact, it could actually speed up the process of the way out.
Yeah, so we talked about self-love, the power of taking care of yourself, whether that is hygiene, clothes, boundaries of saying yes and saying no, self-love. We talked, animal love. We talked relationships and, the idea of going into another relationship, how to leave old behind, how to manifest a relationship. The last topic for today is
best topic.
Universal love. Universal love.
I just got a download.
What is it?
No, it's still coming in.
Okay.
Have you ever got a download? Upload?
Oh, for sure.
It's it's a ringing in the ear.
For me, it's a light bulb moment that has an energy. Like it's a thought that's not quite your own thought.
So it almost feels like tinnitus for a second. It's just like a ringing, so I don't know what's coming. Those are future.
Okay, so I'm gonna. When I think of love, there have been times in my life I've been super sad. I feel abandoned. I feel like nobody loves me. How could they love me? I go in a spiral. I'm not supported. I have no friends. There have been dark times in my life where, my spouse isn't there for me. My parents aren't there for me. I could go on. And it's all together all at once. I've literally been there. And it's a dark place. And what I've come to learn in my own karma is that in those moments, I have to provide the love or a feeling of love myself. And I tune into universal love. And it's so simple, this idea of tuning into love. But for some reason, I seem to forget. But when I remember and I tune into love and what love is, and I feel it's almost like it is like a meditation that I feel this. It is absolutely transforming. I am no longer a needy person. I am no longer looking for outside sources to provide this for me because universal love is accessible to everyone, anyone in an instant, in a second, and it powers your life and even heals in ways that you don't even, I don't think as humans we can articulate.
Yeah.
Love in general, if I have a manifestation in mind, things that I would like to pull into my life to co-create, adding that love, that feeling of love around my visions of like a vision board, and throwing love around it is a way of signaling to the universe, this is what I desire, this is what is juicy, this is what is good. I demand it in my life.
Claim it, command, demand, all of that.
What do you think?
Universal love, same thing. Felt unheard or not as important. My views weren't, critical enough or whatever. And then just see, I get universal love from doing that self-care. So when I start to take care of myself, then universal love comes even stronger. But meditations, writing, I am enough, writing, I am blessed. Just reach, and it's amazing that when it taps it, going out in nature. Oh, that's a big one. Going in nature, just like walking and just even listening to a bird chirp, just you realize that you're so small on the scale of this universe and planet, and but not feeling small, just knowing that there's this. So if I'm this small and I feel this small, but I can feel this love is so big. Does that make sense?
I'm listening.
Yeah. The love is so strong. It's not like you just get like this little tiny bit of love, like it's so massive, and then the love just starts to like pour in, and then it's almost to the point where there's such a moment that it's actually brought me to my knees, and then you just cry out because the love inside. The only thing I can explain, like give even a reference that people would know, is if you've ever seen the movie The Ghost, or A Ghost, with Patrick Swayze, and he says in the very end, and it's like the love inside, it's just crazy. So just to tune in and tap in and just love that and feel that, and then but when you connect to that, and then it just spreads in every aspect of your life, and it's amazing. Like you could be having the worst day ever, and then tapping into that and all of a sudden nothing matters. Nothing matters anymore, but everything matters. It's such a right?
You have to really, I'm going to go back to my teacher. He had this phrase, tasting the orange. You could, if someone's never described tasting an orange,
right.
You won't know. You can describe it, like you're using words to describe it. You tell how it feels, what the color is, what it tastes like, where you find it. But until you actually taste the orange, it's an experience. So today, I believe we'll do a meditation for love.
Yes, please.
For universal love. Yeah. Any other thoughts on universal love?
Pretty much we touched on all the love. If anyone wants to obviously write in after the fact, we'll always respond to after, and we can always add little snippets after.
So the other thing I'm thinking of love is kind of like being the bigger person. Love is powerful for influencing strangers. When you learn how to tap into universal love, and you can do it in an instant, and you surround yourself in that love, you fill yourself up with that love. One simple way is think about something you love. Think about someone you love. Think about what it felt like to be loved. Get those feelings. That feeling really makes a difference for me. And imagine that feeling of love, once you know what it feels like, it's expanding like in your aura, like an egg, a circle, a sphere around you. And then imagine, if you choose, that it goes even farther. And that with just being in the presence of other people, they are influenced by love. Because you don't have to talk to the stranger who's having a bad day, but you simply being in a state of like integrity, of love, being a positive person can change the world. Absolutely. Love makes a huge difference. It can be not just with strangers. If you're having a conflict with your friend, you don't have to talk to them. Just send them love. You don't have to stay in a state of anger and yuck and whatever. You can make the slate clean. Start with love. That's a great way to just shift your energy and how you're feeling about that relationship. Whether it's friends, your spouse, a stranger, love. It can be in the moment's love, or if you're thinking back on a memory, recreate, send with love. No more looking back on the past with animosity or resentment or anger. You can look back with love, and that is a choice that you can make. And it can really change and help heal not just yourself, but if you believe in it, timelines or generations ahead of you and below you. And it's so far reaching.
It's amazing. Just ending on one more thing is you touched on something. So you can do this on you have to be in the right state of mind, because obviously if you're, like, for instance, having road rage or someone's cut you off in traffic and you haven't pre-paved your day, as Abraham would say, you haven't gotten ahead of the feelings that getting cut on traffic can do to you. If you're in the right state of mind and having an okay day, I've done it before and it's amazing. You can actually bless that person. So instead of being like, oh, you cut me off, be like, I bless you, and I bless you for getting to your next destination safely, because you have no idea what that person cut you off. It could have been completely unintentional. They could be late for something. You actually don't know their circumstances. So just sending them that blessing, which essentially is another form of love, sending them that love. I bless you on your way, and I forgive you for cutting me off in traffic. And you'll be amazed at what that feels like for your body, your mental state, yourself.
Okay. So
you went deep there for a second. What are you thinking?
I was thinking about the meditation, like what's coming through for today, because for meditations,
it's a sacred place, and you have to get into it.
It's a sacred place, but I do not write out meditations. It's more of I don't know if the right word is channeling, but it's a flow. It's a surrender. I see things in my mind's eye, or I feel it in my body. And there's a way to articulate what I'm receiving in my intuition, having faith in what I'm receiving and articulating it out loud to help guide a meditation. So I come in with an intent, and today's intent is I'm looking to share tools for self-love, for tapping into universal love, to just feel love in general. And some of the things that I think about when I think about love and tapping into love, I'm thinking about clearing. clearing energy that is not yours, because we can get very bogged down by other people's energies, especially empaths. We're all empathetic. We can all, receive other people's energy, but some people do more than others because of their capacity of their hearts,
can walk down
their intuition.
a mall and feel that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm just getting this importance of to tapping into love can sometimes be influenced by making sure we first clear other baloney away, the stuff that isn't ours to hold on to. So that's where I was thinking.
I knew you were thinking. I was like, help me. I don't know what to say now.
Yeah.
We're still learning. So yes.
That's a little...
I would love to be guided by you.
Okay.
I love meditations.
So wherever you are, make sure you're in a space, ideally, that won't be interrupted. You might be sitting or laying down, and in the space that you are, just with your eyes closed, imagine the space that you're in. With your eyes closed, maybe there are walls around you, a door. Feeling the space of the room that you're in, and just acknowledging where you are in space and time. With your eyes closed, start to feel your breath, observe your breath. You do not need to change how you are breathing, but just listen or observe with your eyes closed the quality of your breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Take notice of your breath and how it feels in your body as you inhale through your nose. If you'd like, exhaling through your mouth. Feeling this breath and noticing if the inhales are shorter, longer, or equal to the exhales. And having this moment in space and time to just be and to just breathe. As you're breathing, I invite you to take a deeper inhale now into the bottom of your tummy. When you're ready to exhale, make it nice, long, and slow exhale through the mouth. And at the bottom of your exhale, it is very easy to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath in through the nose. And a nice, long, slow exhale. Returning your breath back, allowing your breath to just go in automatic mode. You don't need to tell your body how to breathe. It knows exactly what to do. And as you're breathing in the space that you're in, I'd like you to bring yourself in a space of nature. This place in nature can be somewhere you know, somewhere you've been, or it can be completely made up in your mind. A sacred nature space that, although you've never been before, you can imagine every detail in your mind's eye. It can even be a place you'd love to be, somewhere you've never been before, whether imaginative, real. Been there or not, bring yourself to this beautiful place in nature. And as you're in this space in nature, you feel the qualities of the earth around you. You feel the earth below your feet. And if you're walking in this nature, you feel, as you're stepping, the beautiful impact of the earth below you. It could be soft like moss. It could be the sand. Solid ground. There's no right or wrong. This is your space in nature. Feeling the sun on your face, the lights as it comes through the trees, the clouds, if there are any. Feeling the quality of the air as you're breathing in this space in nature. It could be moist, damp, humid. Allowing yourself to breathe in this space in nature. And hearing in nature the sounds of the animals. There could be birds, wildlife, bugs and their little creaking sounds. Maybe there's frogs. Allow yourself to tune in to each of your senses to really absorb this space in nature that you've brought yourself to. And as you're observing this space in nature, you recognize that there is a perfect order in symbiosis in this ecosystem. This beautiful spot in nature, everything is dancing together in perfect order. We never tell the birds how to fly, the bugs how to crawl, the air how to blow its wind. Everything just is, and there is a beautiful dance and intricacy that can be so complex and yet so simple. A divine dance of this earth and this universe happening all around us. And you recognize in this moment, you are part of that same dance. That beautiful play in nature, where everything is. As you walk, you are in perfect harmony with this earth. You are welcomed, and every bit of your energy influences the space around you just as much as the space around you influences you and all of your senses. There's this beautiful exchange between you, this space in the universe, this space on earth, and this sacred nature, an energy exchange that is happening now, effortlessly. And as you feel this divine hug of nature around you, you're reminded of a love that you felt before in your life, a love that you bring to your body or your heart, a love that maybe you felt from someone before. It could be someone like a friend, family, a stranger, kind act that someone did for you. This quality of love and joy that you felt before, you feel filling up your body, surrounding you, growing bigger and bigger, feeling that love. And as though your body has a battery, this love is charging you up. It is giving you everything, any energetic need that you desire right now. Whether you know it or not, this love goes into every place it needs to fill and move your life in this perfect dance that you have with the universe, that you have with nature around you, in this beautiful, natural space that you have within yourself. Divine order. Feeling that love within you and around you, you can come back here at any time, this feeling of love. If you're feeling called to share this love, you watch this sphere of love grow around you. With every inhale, this sphere of love grows bigger, surrounding the nature that you're in. It grows bigger to surrounding, if you can imagine it, going bigger still, a continent, a world, even a universe, expanding this love to all the edges of a galaxy and the galaxies beyond. It is never ending. It is limitless. There is no end. There is no limit for the love that you can send, the love that you receive, and the love that you feel. And sending that love so far until it circles right back at you, where the love that you gave is also the love that you can receive. Breathing in that love. In. You are love. Love is within and around you. And in this sacred space, you know that you can tap in at any time that you wish. Coming back to the space in nature, breathing in a little bit deeper. Coming back to the room or the place that you're in right now. Wiggling those toes if you feel called to. If you feel like you'd like to stay in the space of love, then just disregard the rest of this meditation and stay there. If you're ready to come back to your body, you may open up your eyes. We're back.
We're back. Thank you, Leah. And as this is genuine for you, I know that you feel this. We do send you love from the universe, from the universal love. And be blessed today.
Be blessed.
Bye. Where's my mouse?